Okay, everybody. Hopefully that this duct tape holds. Tell me if you can hear me. I see our Dead Towel in the chat. James Porch. See if any of you could hear any of this. Oh, good, you can hear. Alright, guys. Take 2. Yeah, we were doing a little experimentation while I was in YouTube jail all week. Was experimenting with DLive. I'm probably going to start dual broadcasting. I'm tired of letting YouTube have a complete monopoly on my ability to stream every time Susan WikiWiki doesn't like something I say. If you recall, one of my last streams, we discussed the situation in Portland with the poor guy who got kicked in the head by Marquise Love. And yeah, since then, Marquise Love has been arrested. And yes, being in YouTube jail, I was not able to comment on all the goings on, but now we're gonna be able to catch up. And boy, we have a doozy. You know, so let's dive right into a makeup for a little bit of the lost time. We have goings on in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Yes, a place I'm sure most of you never heard of prior to this week. And because of I'm on parole, you know, with just getting out of YouTube prison, you know, I have to be very careful of what I say, otherwise Susan WikiWiki will be very unhappy with me. We can't have Susan WikiWiki upset. So please bear with me if I'm not as if I'm not as forthcoming as I normally would be, as I'm still on parole, as you could tell from my careful talk about this. So here we have Kenosha, where we have this situation with James Blake. He's an individual who was shot by the Kenosha Police Department. I think it was on Sunday. And with with all that's been going on, it's easy to forget that that this James, was it James Black that it was his name? But he actually wasn't killed by the police. The police were called to, I believe it was a domestic disturbance call, domestic dispute. And, well, at least that's what the first news that came out. They responded, and they got into an altercation with James Blake that was there. He fought off the cops. He walked around the car. And eventually he reached into the car, and one of the police that was trailing right behind him shot him 7 times, you know, as the media keeps emphasizing, in the back. But again, he was reaching into the car. We found out a few more things about that, but we'll go into that a little bit later. But what's happened since then, all week basically, is we've had these extremely violent riots in the normally peaceful town of Kenosha. Now it's very peaceful because it's always been being called mostly peaceful, with all these riots going on. But you've had just these fires that they didn't just burn these places. These buildings would collapse after they burned them. I mean, they just complete ruins. And we'd have we'd have these buildings that the people would stare in disbelief as they just burned to the ground and completely got. And this all culminated last night in the most violent night where people actually got killed. And that's what we're going to talk about mainly to start here, is the situation with poor, depending on your point of view, he's either a terrorist or a hero. Super Chat Sniper Site 00. The 17-year-old was so cool under all that pressure where his life was in serious danger. I fear the commie DA will try and make an example of him. Yeah, that appears to be what's going on, or at least initially. But this Kyle Rittenhouse, you're going to see... I'm not going to call him a hero, but he did very well. I mean, my first take is, yeah, he's 17. He probably shouldn't have been there, but regardless, he was there. His life was put in danger. Let's just read about it, and then I'll give you my take on it. 2 people have died, and another person was seriously injured in a shooting after protests erupted into violence for a third night in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Jacob Blake's shooting by police in Kenosha on Sunday has ignited fresh protests against police brutality and racial injustice in a number of cities across the country. 3 months after the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis sparked a national reckoning. The encounter was captured on cell phone video showing police opening fire, apparently shooting him several times in the back as he leaned into the SUV, as we mentioned. 3 of Blake's young sons witnessed it from the back seat of the vehicle, as the media keeps harping on, and his representation, Ben Crump, and the family. Blake's spinal cord was severed by the bullets, so that's the thing I forgot to mention, that Blake, he wasn't killed, but it appears they're saying that he may be paralyzed from the waist down from the rest of his life, according to his attorney, Ben Crump. But last night we had the situation where, even before last night, a couple of nights ago, what was being called at the time this is what Mark Dice called it. I don't know if they called themselves this. I didn't actually hear them call themselves anything, but Mark Dice was the first thing I noticed. That he got this from Shelby Talcott a couple of nights ago with the Daily Caller, where they filmed what Mark Dice calls the Kenosha Guard militia, working to prevent the Black Lives Matter movement from doing more damage to their city. And this is the first that we saw of this group of people that were protecting this car dealership business in Kenosha. They were on the roof. Yes, these were rooftop Kenoshans, and some of them were on the ground, but I guess that first night they were mainly on the roof. You guys are getting an echo? Hold the source of that down. Normally it's like I probably have a window open somewhere. How's that echo still going on? Yeah, this is all messed up. This setup. I should have tested this before. How's that? Is that any better? Still echoing, huh? Okay. So we're going to talk about this Kenosha Guard here, and here's a look at what they were doing. As you can see, the Black Lives Matter rioters, they were burning and looting that night, but that night they were not burning and looting this this store. This is a car dealership. I think it's called Car Source. They could see that the guys on the rooftops were armed with rifles, so they were not messing with them that night. Okay, so there's there was your first look at them. So I think Elijah Schaefer also got a look at some of them on the ground too. And he wrote, Kenosha, with law enforcement incapable of defending private property, armed groups have begun protecting the city from rioters. This man claimed they were friends of the business owner and were carrying only lethal rounds. They successfully defended the property from the roof.
Hey, you got any injuries?
So somebody in the group, I think I heard, let's play it again, was asking one of the protesters if they had any injuries, and we'll get to why I think that's important in a bit.
Hey, you got any injuries?
Yeah, right there. He asked if someone had some injuries. So one of their secondary mission that you'll hear about in a little bit, it seems like they were also there to provide any kind of medical assistance to if it was needed. So they weren't, this narrative that these people were here counter protesting, that wasn't their role. You'll hear later at some point they even expressed sympathy for the Black Lives Matter cause. Their mission was to protect this business, to protect basically the private property of the town. They were not there to oppose or counter protest any Black Lives Matter a situation there. So that's a fallacy. That they were there in opposition to or counter protesting. No, they were not. All their mission, their objective seemed to have been protect the business, provide medical help. But you had that on last night. These people were very intent on looting, burning, vandalizing this business that they were guarding, and things got a little heated, as you'll see here. And pay special attention to the individual that you'll see in this video. He's a guy. He's a bit of a short guy, really extremely short for a man, and he's wearing a red shirt and he's got a bald head. Pay special attention to that guy because he will become the one of the central figures in the unfolding drama. These are the Black Lives Matter protesters. Apparently they want to vandalize this place. They want to start setting fires here. The only thing standing between them and that business is this group that Kyle Rittenhouse was with. And you can see they started to get to an arguments here. Before we go into it, we have a super chat from Jennifer Wood. Hey, I won't be able to watch, leaving to go to New Mutants. I'll watch as soon as I get home, so glad you're covering this. Thank you very much, Jennifer. Enjoy the movie. Yes, New Mutants does look interesting. I'll probably be checking that out. But getting back to the situation in Kenosha, you're going to see that this militia, at every point that things appear to be getting heated, and these people try to provoke them, the guy or people that seem to be the ringleaders of this group seem to always pull their guys back, de-escalate, make sure that nobody gets cut off, and gets into something stupid. I mean, these guys are all carrying guns, remember, so they're trying to be very responsible. And every time one of these things gets heated or in their face, one of their guys will come and pull them back. Take a look at that. Here's Red Shirt with the bald head. He is actually the first guy that Kyle Rittenhouse will shoot later. He's the guy that gets shot in the head and dies. This is, you can see he's very belligerent, very antagonistic. Just watch him just constantly trying to provoke. Here he is. Nobody's even talking to him. And he's just trying to constantly butt in and start. He's got a very foul mouth. Check him out. See how this guy just came in here and got right in this guy's chest? This, my man right here, pulls him back right away. He could see this guy's a problem. Just saying it's not worth it. Pulls him back, de-escalates. But this guy keeps pushing forward. He's always constantly trying to engage and lock up with one of these guys. Notice most of these guys do not have their weapons at the ready. Most of them have them slung. Some of them have their weapons, shouldered but pointed down. No one here is threatening anybody here. Anytime a situation arises, they back down, they back away. They always de-escalate. So you can see their group here. Muzzles pointed straight down. They're not threatening anybody. The ones that are holding the rifles, muzzles down. Other guys that are armed, their pistols are. This guy's pistol is holstered. You'll see other people, their rifles slung, on their back. So these guys are not assuming an aggressive posture. Only a couple of them even have their. Here you got their fingers off the trigger, and good muscle discipline. They're pointed straight down. And for the most part, with a few exceptions, there really only is a few problems on the BLM side, red shirt being the primary hothead. This guy over here has a fire extinguisher, so here you can see this guy grabbing this man over here, pulling him out of the conflict, off the front line. So here's red shirt again. This Joseph Rosenbaum. This guy's back is to him. So I don't know what his problem is. He keeps coming back in. Dropping those N-bombs. Whoa! This is a white man, as far as I could tell. I mean, dropping N-bombs in front of these African American individuals around him. Nobody seems to care. letting them rip. Asking for that trouble. He's trying to tell men with guns to shoot him. Well, so be careful what you wish for, I guess. So, as you can see, no one's really messing with him. He's just provoking. Guy wants a problem. Now watch it. It looks like they're able to convince somehow. They convince eventually, after all that jawboning, the Black Lives Matter people to move on. They set fire to this dumpster, and you could hear the guys in the group. They're like, "Listen, we support Black Lives Matter." They're like, "Listen, go fight, go burn down the police station, go vandalize the street lights if you want. Just don't destroy private property. Don't destroy this store. Don't destroy our city." So they're not even opposed to Black Lives Matter. They're not opposing them. They're not arguing them. Their argument is just keep your conflict with the city, not the private business people. Seems like they're unhappy that they're not going to be able to destroy this business. Eventually, they get frustrated and move on.
Hey, let's go!
So, apart from the garbage dumpster, getting the fire lit in it, nothing much really happens here, apart from the screaming and the yelling. They even appropriate and take the garbage dumpster along with them to the next location they're moving on to. So don't ask me why you want to steal a garbage dumpster, but the guys protecting the business, they don't stop them. You want to take the garbage dumpster? Go ahead.
Get the police station! Don't burn the city! This is our home!
Don't burn the city. This is our home. And you notice he's got a fire extinguisher. So these guys, they were not counter-protesting. Their only thing was don't burn this particular business or the businesses around here.
This is our home!
So that this narrative that they were some kind of crazy racist militia, some far-right terrorist squad there to take these people out, is a bunch of baloney. So here is the guy in the red shirt that I mentioned. According to Andy No, this is Joseph Rosenbaum, age 36. As I mentioned, he was the first one that Kyle Rittenhouse killed. The video shows him, as you'll soon see, chasing the teen shooter and throwing something at him. Rosenbaum is a registered sex offender for a sex crime involving a minor. Yes, people, here's the Wisconsin Department of Corrections Sex Offender Registry. And you see here one Joseph D. Rosenbaum, photo taken on August 15, 2017. Male, race white, age 36 at that time, I guess. Or actually, this is now. Height 5'3", weight 165 pounds, eye color hazel, hair color red or auburn, but as you can see, he goes around Baldy Bean, Tim Pool style. But note here his registration for the Wisconsin Department of Corrections Sex Offender Registry is August 15th, 2017. Registration and life registration. So whatever this guy did, whatever this Joseph Rosenbaum did to that underage person that he did a sex crime against, requires him to be a lifelong sex offender, sex offender registry person. And notice the compliance status, non-compliant. So he's out of compliance with the Wisconsin Department of Corrections Sex Offender Registry. He's supposed to be registered for life. And he's non-compliant. He has not, I guess he hasn't been checking in. Maybe he's not living where he's supposed to. This is the piece of crap that the left is actually standing for and defending. A chomo, as far as we know. I mean, this is the guy. But further on, Andy No goes on to identify the other individual. This is the guy that attacked Kyle Rittenhouse with the skateboard. This is Anthony Huber, age 26. He was shot and killed in Kenosha, Wisconsin, at the Black Lives Matter riot. Filmed chasing down the armed teen and hitting him when he was on the ground with a skateboard. He has a criminal history that includes charges of battery and repeated domestic abuse. Here's Anthony Huber. This was again while they were arguing at the car lot. This is him. Watching the video, it doesn't look like he clubs Rittenhouse in the head with it. It looked like he was just kind of like trying to smash him down with it, maybe pin him with it, so that he could then get his gun. But he was not the first man in, as you'll see. But the third individual, this is the man who survived, and if you saw, his arm was just horribly mangled. Update on that, they were able to save the arm, as you'll see soon. The third was shot and survived is Gage Grosskreutz, age 26. He's a member of the People's Revolution Movement, so it sounds like this guy's some kind of Marxist. The People's Revolution Movement. He was filmed chasing after the teen with a pistol. He was shot at close range in the upper arm. He has a criminal record that includes being intoxicated and armed with a gun. This is a key fact here, people. This Gage Grosskreutz is a felon. And as you know, in most states, if you're a convicted felon, you're not allowed to possess firearms. So here he is with, as you can see, a Glock. I don't know what model Glock it is. A Glock pistol. He's a convicted felon, guys. He's not supposed to have that. So these people, they keep talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, he's 17. It's illegal for a 17-year-old in the state of Wisconsin to possess a rifle. Well, yeah, it's also illegal for convicted felons to possess a firearm of any kind. So let's keep that in mind. Further information here. So here is, as I told you, that Gage Grosskreutz, he survived. They were able to save his arm. A friend of the man who rushed at the Kenosha teen with a pistol and was shot in the arm has posted an update about his status. Doctors were able to save Gage Grosskreitz's right arm. The friend says Gage regrets not being able to kill the teen. So here, he admits that his intent was to murder Kyle Rittenhouse. So this, you got to understand, this is going to be extremely important in Kyle Rittenhouse's defense. This man is basically admitting, this friend of the man, if he's called to testify, he's going to have to testify that yes, my friend Gage, who was pointing a gun, a pistol, an illegal pistol, mind you, because he's a felon, right at Kyle Rittenhouse's head at the time he was shot. His saying his only regret is he didn't kill him and empty his mag into him. So here he is in the hospital. They saved his arm. They were able to save the arm there. As you can see, he got shot. Look at the wound channel just above the elbow. Took out a lot of his bicep. Well, let's read his friend Jacob Marshall. Ben Stuckless. So the kid shot Gage as he drew his weapon, and Gage retreated with his gun in hand. Just talked to Gage Grosskreutz, too. His only regret was not killing the kid and hesitating to pull the gun before emptying the entire mag into him. Coward. So this guy is basically admitting that his intent was to shoot and kill and empty his magazine into Kyle Rittenhouse. Remember, self-defense, all it requires for Kyle Rittenhouse to be justified in the lethal use of force is to have a reasonable fear of significant bodily harm or imminent death. And this guy is basically telling you here that his regret is that he wasn't faster in pulling his gun and emptying his magazine into this 17-year-old kid who was on the ground and under attack. Remember what I mentioned before? This guy he's a felon. Remember, 24 years old at the time of the arrest. In this record, charges 1: burglary, building or dwelling, degree F level, felony. Charge 2: theft, movable property, less than $2,500, degree A level, misdemeanor. Charges 3: criminal trespass to dwelling, degree A level, misdemeanor. Charges 4: disorderly conduct, degree B, level misdemeanor. That's some of the charges against Gage Grosskreutz. So as a convicted felon, he's not supposed to have that. Here's how the media is trying to portray these guys as saints. Here's Kenosha. Look at this. Listen to this headline. Kenosha protester allegedly killed by Kyle Rittenhouse, remembered as a peaceful person. They're pushing this guy as a peaceful person. Wait till you hear this. One of the Kenosha protesters killed by a gun-toting vigilante was identified Wednesday as a talented skateboarder who died while trying to disarm the gunman. Anthony Huber, 26, of Silver Lake, Wisconsin, has been identified as one of the two people allegedly killed by teen militia member Kyle Rittenhouse during violent protests in Kenosha Tuesday night. A local CBS affiliate reported he's a peaceful person, Huber's friend told the station. He didn't go out looking to beat people up. He's more of a defender, and he put his life on the line for others. That's what he did. Huber's partner, Hannah Giddings, told the outlet that Huber was a skilled skater who was performing at a semi-professional level in his late teens. Giddings said a memorial skate ride is being organized at a Kenosha skate park to honor his memory. Well, that's interesting, because, according to his records, and here the offender details, Department of Corrections of the state of Wisconsin, Well, look at these listed charges. Second degree recklessly endangering safety. Felony, G. Use of a dangerous weapon. Domestic abuse. Count number 2, strangulation and suffocation. Felony, H. Guilty, due to guilty plea. Domestic abuse. Felony, H. Guilty due to guilty plea. False imprisonment. Domestic abuse. Use of a dangerous weapon. Felony, H. Guilty due to guilty plea. Count 4, battery. Domestic abuse. Use of a dangerous weapon. Misdemeanor, A. Disorderly conduct. Modifier, domestic abuse. Modifier, use of a dangerous weapon. Misdemeanor, B. Count 6, disorderly conduct. Modifier, domestic abuse. Misdemeanor, B. So this peaceful man who doesn't go around looking to beat people up seems to have a lot of charges involving strangulation, suffocation, use of a deadly weapon, recklessly endangering safety. This is the peaceful felon. Super chat from Matches Burn. Thank God Kyle had a rifle sling. Weapon retention, yes. And very important. Makes it very hard to be disarmed. So we've learned more about Anthony Huber there, the peaceful skateboarder. So I don't think I'm gonna show you the raw video. I think I'm gonna go to the video that's more synced up. Watch it here. I have to be very careful here. This video is synced up so that you could follow it closer. The white rectangle is going to be Kyle Rittenhouse, and you'll see him running through this. This is a different car, looks like some kind of auto service place. This is where they chased him. And you're going to see Joseph Rosenbaum is going to be the other rectangle. And here's Rittenhouse running. You could see him there. He's running. He's got his rifle. Notice his back is to Rosenbaum in the blue rectangle who is chasing him. So this guy had chased him from down the street. Who knows how many blocks? It's got to be at least 1 or 2 blocks. And I'm not going to play the video. I'll just keep advancing it almost like a frame by frame. And you can see him. He's chasing him. And he's throwing some kind of object here. It appears to be a bag full of something. This is Rosenbaum. He's taken off the red shirt. So he's basically shirtless at this point. And he's wrapped the red shirt around the bottom of his face like a mask. And he's chasing after Rittenhouse here. He throws something, doesn't hit him with it. So Rittenhouse runs away again. And now Rosenbaum chases him again and eventually catches up to him. And this is the split synchronized video of another angle. And you can see here, he chases and catches up to Rittenhouse again. And that's when he gets shot. When he lunges for Rittenhouse's rifle. And that's when he gets shot. And he goes down. So we won't delve into that. It's a bit graphic. But they have a slow motion here. And you could clearly see he lunges. He's basically right behind Rittenhouse at this point. And then he reaches for the gun. And that's when he gets one in the dome. Rittenhouse fires a total of 4 shots. But you're going to hear later, more than 4 shots are heard in this particular area. So that means there's other shooters. And you're going to see that he was being shot at. So here's this is a video that was actually put together by the New York Times. And you're going to see caught on the video is the first shooter. The person that shoots first is not Kyle Rittenhouse. It's one of the Black Lives Matter rioters.
It was white boys.
Here's Rittenhouse circled in this video. Next, you're going to see Rosenbaum chasing him. And then you're going to see in this area, keep your eye in this area, you're going to see a guy pull out a gun and fire it.
Yeah, that's Antifa, man.
Here he threw it. At first, earlier this morning, I thought that was a Molotov cocktail. But I'm looking at it again and again. I don't think it's on fire. I think it's these bright lights. They either reflected off of the plastic bag or they refracted through it and made it kind of look like it was on fire. I don't think it was. I don't think it was on fire. I think that it was just a trick of the light. So he threw that bag of crap at him, and then he resumed the chase after that. But keep an eye over here for the guy with the gun.
Oh, he got a gun, baby.
There it is. This guy, you could see he fired the handgun right there. Clearly, and this is the New York Times, mind you. This is not some right-wing news outlet. This is the New York Times video analysis people. The first man to shoot that night was not Kyle Rittenhouse. It was the Black Lives Matter rioters that were chasing him. He'd done nothing. He had not fired a single shot at this point. He was fleeing, sprinting at full speed. Back to them, not aiming his gun at anybody. The guy shot his pistol in the air. That's the first shot that goes off in this encounter. Ooh. Then the next shots are the four that Kyle Rittenhouse takes when Rosenbaum catches up to him and lunges for the gun.
They shooting you! Ooh! He shot him.
Then, from that point on, those shots are being fired from somewhere else down the street. And here again, the New York Times, I'm going to go to their article, they were actually caught the muzzle flash of one of the shots. Here, it looks like it's around the corner, somewhere by the corner of the auto lot here, maybe across the street. Muzzle flash. This is where the other shots come. There were two other shooters here. They note Rosenbaum as, quote, lunging man, so that confirms he did lunge. And here's Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse hasn't shot yet, and you have two separate shooters. This guy here and the guy in the previous video that was the first shot that you heard. So look at the position of this guy.
Oh, he got a gun, baby.
This guy shot from this side of the car lot by this kind of like this light on the right side, while the second shooter was coming from here around the corner. So two separate shooters are flinging bullets, you know, in Kyle Rittenhouse's direction before he's even aimed his gun at anyone, let alone taken a shot. He's still here trying to run away from this guy. Now this is the man, Richie Mcginnis. He's a journalist with Tucker Carlson. I think it's with the Daily Caller, I believe. And he's the guy that actually was standing next to Rittenhouse and Rosenbaum when he got hit and went down. He's the guy that takes off his shirt and puts it on Rittenhouse's head wound, and he eventually ends up carrying Rittenhouse to a car and takes him to the hospital. So he's also the guy that tells the shooter, Rittenhouse, to call 911. But let's hear his story, and he will also confirm that he was the closest witness that this guy lunged at Rittenhouse. Incoming super chat from Sniper Site 00. The Black Lives Matter medics show how highly skilled they are again by shouting out, "Put pressure on it," on a gunshot wound to the head with possible fractured skull. Yeah, I mean, when you see this guy, I'm not going to show you the video because Susan WikiWiki will definitely not like it. The guy basically dies right in front of you. He's moaning, he's groaning. It's horrible. You know, regardless of what he did, you don't want people to die. But, yeah, that dude was done and you knew it. So here's his description of what went on. This is Richie Mcginnis with the Daily Caller.
From the video, it's not clear that there are any...
Oh, look at that. They took the video down already. In between show prep, right before the show to this, they've already taken the video down. That's very helpful. But needless to say, in that interview on Tucker Carlson last night, basically Richie Mcginnis said he was there, he witnessed the individual, he saw the Black Lives Matter rioters chasing chasing after Kyle Rittenhouse, and that Rosenbaum, in the final moment, lunged for Rittenhouse, and that's when he took one in the dome. So here, Rittenhouse, after that, he calls 911, and someone in the crowd shouts, you know, to go get that MFer. I could probably show you that if I back to one of the videos where he after he shot the guy. Going to be slow loading. When you have all these tabs open, it just gets slows the machine down. Okay, so after he's down, here's Rittenhouse. He goes over, and if he's some kind of murderous person, why would he go over and try to call 911? Okay, it's going to be hard because this guy's far away. There's a closer one that I could probably find. This is when Mcginnis, you know, he's trying to help the guy out. Then he takes off his shirt, and that's at the point where he tells Rittenhouse to call 911, which presumably he does because on the phone he basically says to whoever he's talking to that he just killed somebody. Then somebody says, "Get that MFer." And at that point, he says, "You know what? I need to run out of here," and he trots off. Here's Mcginnis taking off his shirt. Here's Rittenhouse, presumably, we don't know for certain, calling 911 to inform them that he's just shot someone. You just heard. It'd be hard to hear here, but somebody just said, "Get that MFer." He just said it there. You could hear him clearly say, "I just killed somebody," as he's running off. Okay. It might be easier to see in a video that was taken from a closer angle. I might have that here. I guess I don't. Thought I did. There's just so many videos of this. There's so many angles. It's crazy. Alright, so at that point when you saw him run off, he runs down the street, and a different bunch of rioters, I guess they've seen they've heard the gunshots. They're aware that something has happened down the block. They see this guy running in the street, and I guess they just assume that he was the gunman, and they chase him. And I'm not gonna play this because we went through that series of events where first this guy. See if I have the still image of it. I'm sure Susan WikiWiki won't object to the still image of what I'm looking for here. The first guy in was this guy, the black guy that leads off. Leads with some kind of like flying drop kick to the face. You can see he's got a lot of air there. This is the first attacker after Rittenhouse fell down. And you can see he's got his rifle. He's got both hands on it. He's got it pointed straight up, so he's not really pointing it directly at anybody. And the first man in drop kicks him. And you can see the guy with the skateboard. I believe that's Anthony Huber. He's the next man in, and he comes in and he just kind of like bashes him in the head with the skateboard. But I think it's less a bash in the head and more of just trying to like, you know, mush him with it and pin him, and then go for his rifle. And then the third guy is Grosskreutz with the pistol, the felon who's not supposed to have a pistol. He ends up he walks up to him. And Rittenhouse does not shoot him immediately because he has his hands up. So Rittenhouse doesn't fire because the guy appears to be surrendering. He only shoots him in the arm when Grosskreutz then, after faking a surrender, then raises the weapon and points it right at Kyle Rittenhouse's head. And that's when Rittenhouse shoots and takes half his bicep off. So here's when he was first identified. People found his Facebook page. I believe his upstairs neighbor was the first one that recognized him and put it out on social media. I mean, here he is. I guess he's holding his rifle there and he's posing with a picture. If you went through his page before it got locked down, he's very pro-cop, he's pro-Trump. But he doesn't seem like he doesn't seem like he's in the far right, just a regular kid that seems to like the police and is a fan of Donald Trump, tangentially. But here he is with the group. People were trying to paint these guys as like Boogaloo Boys. I don't think that's what they are. I don't get that vibe off of this group. They seem to be a bunch of clean-cut guys. I don't know. I just don't get the Boogaloo vibe off of this crew. Here he is. He's there. He's got that green shirt on. He's got the jeans. You can see he's a little kid. And this pack that he's got here is basically like a med. He claims it's a med kit when he's interviewed later. You'll see. The odd thing is I don't want to dox the kid, so I'm going to be very careful here. But notice here on the court records for, I guess he got a traffic ticket or something here. His date of birth, notice, is January 2003. 2003, so he's 17, so this is him. Male, race, Hispanic. Oh, thanks for the sticker, Tom. Tom Patterson, nice sticker there. Goal! But that's going to be an interesting twist if it turns out to be true. The narrative that this is some kind of white supremacist who wanted to kill... First of all, the 3 guys he shot were white. The black guy that kicked him in the head, he didn't shoot. And according to the court records here, Kyle Rittenhouse is actually Hispanic. So, the left's narratives on this is just crumbling before our eyes here. I don't know. If it turns out a Hispanic guy shot 3 white men, and the only guy that attacked him physically that didn't get shot was the black man, explain to me how he's some white supremacist who went there to kill black people or brown people. So, someone needs to explain that one to me. But here he's interviewed by Richie Mcginnis. This is the guy that took off his shirt and told him to call 911. He actually interviewed him shortly before the shooting. And listen to what he had to say at the time.
You obviously are armed, and you're in front of this business we saw burning last night, so what's up?
So people are getting injured, and our job is to protect this business, and part of my job is to also help people. If there's somebody hurt, I'm running into harm's way. That's why I have my rifle, because I need to protect myself, obviously. But I also have my med kit.
Seems very proud of having his med kit there, and as you're going to see in another interview, you're going to see him actually offer medical assistance. Apparently, he offers medical assistance to some injured or protesters who are in some kind of distress. He runs up to them and helps them out. This is when he was interviewed by Elijah Schaefer. And you'll see at the end of this interview, he pretty much says the same thing. I'm here to guard this business, and I'm also here to render first aid. He claims to be an EMT. And he spots some people having some kind of medical issue, and he runs over and says, "Hey, I'll help you." Incoming super chat from T Heat. Thank you for the truth and good judgment. Well, I mean, I'm going to try to tell you how it is.
We're protecting from the citizens, and I just got pepper sprayed by
Note again, if he went there to cause trouble, if he was looking to hurt people, how come when one of the quote-unquote peaceful protesters pepper sprayed him in the face, and you could see his face is kind of still wet here, How come when he got pepper sprayed in the face by one of the protesters, he just took it? He seems to be in good spirits. He's standing there. If he was looking for trouble, why did he let someone pepper spray him? Let's play it. Let's start it again.
We're protecting from the citizens, and I just got pepper sprayed by a person in the crowd.
So you had non-lethal, but you didn't respond.
We don't have non-lethal.
So you guys are full on ready to defend the property.
Yes, we are. Now, if I can ask, can you guys step back? Medical, EMS right here. I'm an EMT.
Here he is. Look, somebody here is. They appear to be limping. They're trying to help this person along. Got some kind of leg issue. He runs right up. These are protesters. These are people that he's supposed to want to come there to kill. He's running over to help them out. Check this out. I'm going to play this again. Remember, he's supposed to be a terrorist. He's there. He went looking for trouble, guys.
So you guys are full on ready to defend the property.
Yes, we are. Now, if I can ask, can you guys step back? Medical, EMS right here. I'm an EMT.
So here's the troublemaker kid. There's that troublemaking kid running over helping injured protesters. So the reactions to this guy, I mean, you think that he was a terrorist. Listen to this deranged leftist screeching and with rage about. I mean, these people are unhinged. But I mean, you can't even believe the rage coming off this woman.
I'm about to go on a fucking rampage. Civilians with AR-15s are out there shooting and killing protesters. And you motherfuckers want to get on TikTok and talk about what if he did this? What if he did this? Talking about Democrats want fucking war, but y'all out there walking around with fucking AR-15s shooting people. And the police are passing out waters? Fucking stop it! Fuck your hate, fuck you, fuck America, I don't give a fuck no more. Y'all want war, let's do this shit. Fuck y'all. Nobody can.
Okay, so this woman is gonna pop a blood vessel or something. I mean, if these people just don't want to wait for information, man. They just over the course of the day, you know, I look into this. And I find out the information, and right away I kind of get the idea. I said, "There's no way this guy went there and did this." You look at this guy, and you see the people he's with. I'd seen the videos of them the day before. I said, "These guys didn't go there to do that." And as the day went on, you see they were attacking him. And this is the kind of reaction that you've got from the left wing. They're trying to turn him basically into a terrorist. Here he is. I mean, you can't make this up. Earlier in the day, Kyle Rittenhouse went down to the school, the nearby school that was near the business they were protecting, to help wash the graffiti off the place. This guy went there. You may think it was stupid for this kid to go there, which it probably was. It probably was stupid for this kid to go there. But he went there, you know, I think with the best of intentions to help. Here he is cleaning the graffiti off of the school. Let's read this. I mean, he's been charged with murder in the first degree, remember, people. That's in Wisconsin, that's a mandatory life sentence. If you were to be convicted of first degree murder, that's mandatory life in Wisconsin if you're found guilty of that. So here he is. Here's a picture of him. Basically washing the graffiti off of the wall of the school. Volunteers clean graffiti from a high school near the Kenosha County Courthouse following another night of unrest. There he is. People were wondering why he had the gloves. It's because he was cleaning the school earlier. Goo-Gone? Is that what they were using? Goof Off? He's got some bottle of Goof Off on his hand there. don't know what to tell you, but I'd seen that there was a They initially tried to start a GoFundMe for him, but of course GoFundMe wasn't having that. They shut that down, so they went to the site Fundly, and remember that group of a couple of weeks ago that was, I think it was in Seattle or Portland. I think maybe it was Seattle. Oh, they took down this this funding campaign too. Look at that. In the short time since I prepped it, now this campaign was taken down. It had gotten up to $50,000 that I saw. "17-year-old suspect in Kenosha shootings was too young to open carry in Wisconsin. Might still raise self-defense." So a lot of left-wingers have been focusing on the fact that as a 17-year-old, technically, according to Wisconsin law, he would not be able to carry a long gun without adult supervision. But further looking into it further, there's a very big hunting culture in Wisconsin. So they have exemptions where 16 and 17-year-olds would be able to carry rifles if they had adult supervision of someone, say, 21 years of age or older who was able to carry a rifle. Given that he was with this group, if anyone in the group was 21, he may have been legal at that point. But then again, you had the situation where he was running from a guy on his own, so who knows with that. I think that's why he hasn't been charged, because it's not as black and white as a lot of people in the media are making out. And since I've come on, I believe it was like an hour or two before I came on, Nick Sandmann's attorney, Lynn Wood, has agreed to, has found the family. He put out a tweet earlier in the day asking how he could get in touch with with Kyle Rittenhouse or his family, and it appears he was put in touch with them. He's now become the attorney for the family. So now Lynn Wood, who is Nick Sandmann's attorney, the guy that remember the Covington Catholic story where the smirking MAGA hat kid with the Indian banging his drum in his face, that was smeared by the media, and he won all those lawsuits against CNN. It was at NBC as well. So Nick Sandmann's gotten rich. Could this be Covington Catholic 2.0, where if they can get Kyle Rittenhouse clear of these legal troubles, where if the media put any sort of false narrative out there about him, that they could get in some trouble themselves. So there's a lot of people that are putting breakdowns of this story out there. I've been seeing a few of those. I think that as ironically as I'm going to say this, the best one of all the breakdowns I've seen is the one in the New York Times. So you might want to check that one out. Matter of fact, I'll give you the title of it so you can look for it yourself. It's the New York Times breakdown. It's called "Tracking the Suspect in the Fatal Kenosha Shootings." The other thing I'll notice before I move on from this shooting story is, notice in the second shooting, the one where he was on the ground, is that there was more gunfire after he had gone down and he runs away. They count 16 gunshots that did not come from Rittenhouse. So there was a whole lot of people shooting that night, and it wasn't Rittenhouse doing it. Let's see. Okay, so the video that happens in the aftermath, maybe we'll be able to hear it there. Now here he is. He's tired. He's exhausted. The adrenaline, and maybe it's starting to wear off as he kind of approaches the cops. You can see the cops are at the corner, and they don't seem to know what's going on. And he approaches them, and it looks like he's trying to surrender at that point. See, he's got his hands up in the air, and he's approaching the cops at that corner. I don't think they know what's going on. They know that people have been shot. They've probably gotten calls that people have been hit. But they don't seem to know that the suspect that they're looking for, or who or how many people are involved. And it looks like he tries to walk up to them and surrender, but they just kind of don't bother with him. They just kind of drive by him.
Hey, he just shot them! Hey, dude right here just shot them! Dude right here just shot all of them down there! That dude just shot them right there! That dude right here!
Here the cops are like backing, they're putting their car in reverse. And he's got his hands up. I think he was trying to surrender here. Remember, as far as we know, he called the police. He dialed 911 on his own phone and said, I just killed somebody. Not the actions of someone who's trying to get away with some kind of crime if you use your cell phone to call the police and say, hey, I just shot somebody. It's like he's trying to flag them down almost. That's the problem, and this is what I think happened. You know, incoming super chat from Captain America Shazam. Great reporting of the truth. Thank you, MAGA. I mean, I'm telling you, like it's right there on video, guys. I mean, if you look, you can find it. What happened? I think the cops were so focused on the injured people. They had reports of multiple people down on the ground. And they could see that there were people down on the ground. I think they just went straight for the wounded here. And also remember, there's all kinds of guys running around there. They were open carrying that night. So, I mean, you just had a bunch of people that were armed. And I just think this is one more armed rando as far as they were concerned.
Get out of the road! Get down there!
So from what we could gather after this, I think he just went home. These people would keep trying to say that he crossed state lines, like he went cross country, you know, driving for days to get here. Guys, he lives less than 20 minutes away. The guy just went home. I guess he just figured I'll just go home and cops will pick me up here. You know, I think he just went home. He had his car nearby. I think he was just he was just running to his car at some point, and his car was probably somewhere down the street, and he just went and got to his car. Probably drove home. That's my thought anyway. But it looks like the guy was trying to surrender, and he assumed that he was about to be arrested. The cops were like, no, it's all right. We have wounded over here. So let me move on to the more general stuff about Kenosha. So look at this is the story, and this is what the media had been trying for days. They've been trying for days to kind of like, they were trying to keep a lid on this, trying to say like there was nothing wrong in Kenosha. It was just mostly peaceful, guys. Nothing to see here. It just the dam broke. I mean, but look at this. This is what they were trying to pass off as peaceful protests, mostly peaceful. This was that first car lot that got burned that night, I think. I mean, just look at this. Mostly peaceful, guys. This is, I think, a guy that works in the Papa John's, and I think if he wasn't a Trump voter before, he's saying right here, I think he is now. Listen to this guy.
Get Trump reelected? Are they trying to get Trump reelected? Seriously. I got a family to support. I got fucking kids to feed.
Hey, look, these people don't represent our movement.
Well, I'm sorry, but they're with you.
Guys, if you're asking why the stream is blocking a low bit rate, my settings are all jammed up. So right now I'm streaming to you with duct tape. To fix it up now, I'd have to stop the stream and be all janky. So apologize for the quality. That's what a week in YouTube jail does for the quality of the stream. Hopefully we'll troubleshoot this and get it fixed in time for the next stream. But in case that video was too low res for you guys to hear. I'll play it again.
Get Trump reelected? Are they trying to get Trump reelected? Seriously. I got a family to support. I got fucking kids to feed.
Hey, look, these people don't represent our movement.
Well, I'm sorry, but they're with you. Trying to get Trump reelected? Are they trying to get Trump reelected? Seriously. I got a family to support. I got fucking kids to feed.
Hey, look, these people don't represent our movement.
Well, I'm sorry, but they're part.
See if that helps. Trying to fix the bitrate, guys. Let me know if that's any better. Hopefully that fixes it. We'll just try to get this off your screen now. So that's not helpful at all. In the middle of the stream, it's never good to do technical troubleshooting in the middle of the stream. Screw it. We'll just go with this. All right. So hopefully that fixes that up. So this is the situation today in well, it was as of yesterday, where you had this guy, and he was a business owner. Apparently his parents started this business, he says, in their garage 40 years ago, and, you know, Black Lives Matter came and destroyed it.
Morning, get up, come down here, and what I see I was not prepared for. I knew it was going to be a disaster, but I didn't know what a disaster looked like till I saw it.
And you, I can hear the emotion in what you're saying. I mean, what is the family feeling right now?
It's tough. You know, this is a business that my parents started 40 years ago, small, out of their garage. It was a small business. Did it just to make a few extra dollars, and eventually it grew. 31 years ago, they bought this building, and so we've been here ever since. They're very upset about it. It's emotionally hurtful. We didn't do anything to anybody. You know, why did we deserve it?
Sir, just my final question.
So here's a guy, you can see he's totally dejected. I mean, who could blame him? His family business of 40 years has just got wrecked. I mean, what are you gonna do? This situation is unbearable. So I mean, let's look at the next situation, where you have here we had the Papa John's guy. Here we got the family business guy. We had this elderly man who was defending his store, and they just beat the snot out of him. They broke his jaw. I mean, how do you like that? This old guy, and they just wrecked him. Elderly man defending store during Kenosha riots, his jaw broken. Elderly man's jaw was broken in a sickening caught-on-camera attack as he tried to protect the store that was eventually torched during the Kenosha protests. I don't even know if I could play this for you. This might be a little too much.
This poor man got his business caught on fire.
They're burning his store. They're looting it and burning his store, basically. He's trying to stop them from looting his store and put the fire out. Note to self: don't play Facebook links on the New York Post website. They never work. But just to describe to you what happens, so he gets to the front of the store and they just bash him and just blood everywhere, and the woman taking the video, she says, "Oh, I'm trying to help him. These people are just burning and looting his store. They broke his jaw." That's all he's gonna know. So what do we have in Kenosha now? We have, in honor of the rooftop Koreans, I guess we have the rooftop Kenoshans with laser sights. This is the new wrinkle. We got the rooftop Kenoshans with the laser sights now. And with the rooftop Kenoshans with the laser sights, we have this guy thinking it's a good idea to throw rocks at him. So, just a hint of advice: don't throw rocks at the rooftop snipers. I don't think anything good comes of it. But now these people, they're just emboldened. They're marching through the residential areas now. Here they are in the middle of the night. Now that they've basically wrecked the business district, now they're moving on to the residential areas. Why locals are forming up armed groups. So apparently not even the Jewish synagogue was exempt from the depredations of the Black Lives Matter horde, where they vandalized it with Free Palestine graffiti. Yes, not even the Jewish temples were safe from the marauding vandals. Not even the tribe was exempt from their fury. But we had a church that was burned down during the anti-police riots in Kenosha. A church in Kenosha, Wisconsin was reportedly burned down Tuesday night amid the violent anti-police riots that broke out across the city at the start of the week. The violence started Sunday after law enforcement officials shot Jacob Blake, 29. Okay, we know that much. Residents emerged from their houses around midnight to gape at billowing smoke that could be seen for miles. Lost in the blaze, neighbors said, was a mattress store, a storefront church, a Mexican restaurant, and a cell phone store. Less than a mile away, a probation and parole office was all set on fire. That probation and parole office, it's gone. So if you're on parole in Kenosha, you've got it on Easy Street. The parole office burned to the ground. The situation in Kenosha is so dire that the state's governor has deployed the National Guard. Well, that was the first night. He only deployed like about, 150 or was it 200 of them? Wasn't enough. Yesterday, they finally had to bite the bullet, or it actually was today, and deploy 2,000 National Guard. They had to beg President Trump for help. The governor had to swallow his pride. But look at the extent of this damage in the light of morning, where you just, I guess this guy flies a drone. Oh, let me deactivate that music. Don't want to get any copyright strikes now. Here's a drone showing you just the level of devastation. These buildings, they're done. This is knock it down, condemn it. This building is not coming back. Neither is that building that collapsed there. These structures have collapsed. They're total losses. That's a collapsed structure. The roof, the walls, the floors in between, done. This is a burnt out shell. Just bulldoze the whole thing and throw it away. This building too might also be fatally compromised. Here's another one. Complete collapse of the roof, the floor, the structure right next door to it that's attached also collapsed. At least the roof did. The outer walls still seem to be up. See the fire department trying to keep down the smoldering ruins. Here's another building totally collapsed, rubble. Barely recognizable as that there was a structure there before in this parking lot. Here's a closer view of it next to the train tracks. That structure is a total loss. Here's appears to be another structure, complete loss. Don't know what it was before. Remember, Kenosha is very near the water. Lake Michigan, I believe. Here's the lot where all those cars were burned the first night. Just every car in that lot is done. And what do we have here? Here's this is what's pissing me off, people. This is that bullshit. Here's CNN telling you fiery but mostly peaceful protests. This is the Ali Velshi. Remember Ali Velshi at NBC? The Ali Velshi mostly peaceful protest school of riot coverage here.
Laura, what you're seeing behind me is one of multiple locations that have been burning in Kenosha, Wisconsin over the course of the night. A second night since Jacob Blake was seen shot in the back 7 times by a police officer. And what you are seeing now, these images came...
Mostly peaceful protests as the city goes up behind him in a fiery hellscape. Like something you would see in a movie.
And come in stark contrast to what we saw over the course of the daytime hours in Kenosha and into the early evening, which were largely peaceful demonstrations in the face of law enforcement. It wasn't until night fell that things began to get a little bit more contentious. Things were thrown back and forth. Police started using some of those crowd dispersal tactics like tear gas, even playing very loud sounds to push them out.
Why would the police have to use that if it was mostly peaceful?
And then what you were seeing, the common theme that ties all of this together, is an expression of anger and frustration over what people feel like has become an all too familiar story playing out in places from across the country, not just here in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Christine, Laura?
All right, thank you so much for that. New overnight.
I mean, mostly peaceful, everybody. Don't mind the hellscape of fire behind me. So... we've gotten more information about the shooting of Jacob Black. Remember, this whole thing started with him. The guy that was shot, not killed, remember, paralyzed from the waist down, as far as we know now. It turns out the cops did know, going in there, that he was a dangerous person and that they were going to have to arrest him. So this narrative that the cops just randomly rolled up there and just saw a black guy and decided they were going to mess with him, it's been debunked. The police were called because he was trespassing and he was stealing the house keys of a woman. He was not welcome there. They were already aware that someone at that location, was that they had a warrant for their arrest and was potentially dangerous. So when the headline here says that within 5 minutes, police opened fire less than 5 minutes after being called, it's because they engaged the guy right away. They were trying to arrest him. Kenosha police scanner audio indicates police opened fire on a 29-year-old Jacob Blake less than 5 minutes after they were initially contacted. In cell phone video shared widely, that's the video you've all seen. According to the audio obtained by Madison 365, someone called police to report that Blake was at her home, wasn't supposed to be, and that he had taken her keys and was refusing to give them back. A dispatcher relayed this message to patrol officers at about 5:11 on Sunday. 30 seconds later, she let patrol officers know that there was an alert at this address for a 99 for this subject, apparently to indicate that a warrant had been issued for Blake's arrest. Court records indicate a warrant was issued on 3 charges, 2 misdemeanors and 1 G-class felony on July 7th. Court records indicate no previous criminal charges in the state of Wisconsin. A minute after the initial call, dispatcher indicated that Blake was leaving the premises and that the woman who had initially called had hung up. So we have we can listen to the scanner audio. Don't know if this will play, but we'll give it a shot.
707.
707, 2805 40th Street, 28054 Street. Complainant says Jacob Blake isn't supposed to be there, and he took the complainant's keys and refused.
They said his name, guys. So Jacob Blake, they knew exactly who they were going to get.
Is refusing to give them back. 40th Street. Complainant says Jacob Blake isn't supposed to be there, and he took the complainant's keys and is refusing to give them back.
60. 707.
Headquarters 618 707, just for 43, we have a alert at this address for 99 for that subject.
707.
So it sounds like there's gonna be a lot of dead air here. Maybe I could skip forward a bit.
And
707, begin 1060.
Tower 707, again for 43, it looks like he's trying to leave. We're trying to get a vehicle description.
So, guys, I don't think I have to go on much further. We have audio evidence from the police scanner. We have the recordings that show that they knew exactly who was there. They knew that he was wanted on a warrant, so they knew they were there to arrest him. The police were called on him. He was decided. This was not him. Remember, the claim by Benjamin Crump, his lawyer, was that he was there being a good Samaritan, breaking up a fight between 2 women. No. The woman at the address called the cops on him that he was trespassing. She didn't want him there, and he was stealing her keys. So that Ben Crump lying narrative, don't take that. And yes, someone in the chat asked about the knife. He admitted to the cops in interviews that yes, he in fact did have a knife, and the police did recover a knife from the floorboards of the driver's side of his car. So when you watch the video, you even hear the cops yelling, "Drop the knife, drop the knife." You hear the person that took the video talking about a knife. Clearly, the guy reached into the car, he had a knife. So this nonsense about he was unarmed is a load of crap. The guy had a knife in the car. Don't read. When you fight the cops, they tase you. They pull their guns. They have their guns on you. They've got a hold of your shirt. Don't reach into your car for a deadly weapon when you're fighting the cops and resisting arrest. Okay? That's just an important safety tip. New footage shows Jacob Blake brawling with cops before being shot as 2 white Wisconsin officers are placed on leave, while police chief calls Governor Tony Evers is wholly irresponsible for condemning law enforcement. Yeah, the governor right away, he threw the cops under the bus before any information was in. Here we have video that was taken from the other side of the car that shows Jacob Blake fighting with the police, overpowering them, and eventually he walks around. I'll try to cut the video off before that the stuff happens, but you'll see clearly he fights the cops. They try to tase him. That doesn't work, and he just ignores them. It's hard to see there, but he's behind the car or on the side and fighting the cops.
You are broken! Mom, get back! Mom!
And there you could see him. He was walking around the front of the car, where he'd eventually reach in, and that's when the cops would shoot him 7 times apparently. But yeah, knife recovered, and he admits it was his knife, so you can't say it was planted. And here we have an article saying just that. Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Call said Jacob Blake had knife in car, but would not clarify if responding officers knew about it. So to me, with the Attorney General saying that the guy admitted that it was his knife in the car, I don't think there's a chance in hell that they can prosecute these cops for that shoot. Remember, the cops only have to show that they had a reasonable fear of imminent bodily harm or death. Again, just like with the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. And clearly, a suspect who's resisting arrest, who's shrugged off your taser, and who's ignoring your commands at gunpoint, reaches into the car for a deadly weapon. There's no prosecutor that could make a case that officer did not have a reasonable fear for imminent bodily harm or death. So I don't see how it is possible that they would be able to charge this case. So let's move forward a little bit here. So listen, now you're seeing a shift in the tone of the news coverage of this. You have the Democrats, or at least here's Don Lemon and Fredo on CNN. They appear to have seen some polls that show that the riots are not popular with the American people, the American voter electorate, and they're starting to say, it might be a mistake for Biden and the Democrats to have ignored the situation with the riots all this time. He says it's helping Trump. That's the hypocritical part about this. His problem isn't the riots themselves being a bad thing. His problem is that they're helping Trump. So let's see if I can refresh this and get you the actual video of it. It'd be a lot easier. See if I can get it. No, they go to the transcript. There was a video. They had a video here. I guess they took it out. Here it is. Here's Fredo and Don Lemon admitting that for political reasons it's time to denounce the riots.
You have COVID, and then you have Kenosha, Don. And what's happening in Wisconsin, it's a Rorschach test for where this country is, and I think it probably represents the biggest threat to the Democratic cause.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
That's because we're reading from the same teleprompter.
No,
I took your line.
No, you didn't. That's all you. That all says Chris. This is where I come in. We'll get to that. But when you said it's too little too late, I don't know about that. I mean, we still have a lot of time left until Election Day, and I do think that what you said.
See, he's talking about Election Day. He's not talking about the riots, the people, the more than 30 people who have been killed in these riots since they started. The businesses destroyed, the livelihoods destroyed. No, it's Election Day. It's helping Trump.
what's happening in Kenosha is a Rorschach test for the entire country. And I think this is a blind spot for Democrats. I think Democrats are ignoring this problem or hoping that it will go away. And it's not going to go away. And so, unless someone comes up with a solution over the next 73 days or 70 so, however many days.
68 days.
68 days. So it's not going to, the problem is not going to be fixed by then. But what they can do, and I think maybe Joe Biden may be afraid to do it. I'm not sure. Maybe he won't. Maybe he is. He's got to address it.
So, I mean, Don Lemon, I mean, give him credit. At least he's telling the truth here. I mean, I can't fault him for that. You know, I just think his motives are disgusting. I mean, he's basically saying, Jesus, what are the Democrats doing? They're going to give Trump the election if they keep ignoring this. I mean, but he's speaking the truth. I mean, it's factual.
He's got to come out and talk about it. He's got to do a speech like Barack Obama did about race. He's got to come out and tell people that he is going to deal with the issue of police reform in this country, and that what's happening now is happening under Donald Trump's watch, and on Donald Trump's watch. And when he is the president, Kamala Harris is the vice president, then they will take care of this problem. But guess what? The rioting has to stop. Chris, as you know and I know, it's showing up in the polling.
He just says it. It's showing up in the polling. Now they talk about it. It's been called, they called it a myth for was it 3-4 months? They've been calling Antifa's a myth. There's these cities, it's a small area affected where there's any problems. Now, all of a sudden, it's showing up in the polls. It's an emergency. Emergency. Joe Biden has to give a speech.
Mm-hmm. It's showing up in focus groups. It is the only thing right now that is sticking. And the Democrats tonight stuck with that, right? And they also stuck with the theme that you said.
I mean, he gave away the game right there. I mean, do I have to go on? He gave away the game. There's this weird thing now also that's kind of related to the, you had this Milwaukee activist called Frank, he's Frank Sensible, but he's called, his nickname is Nitty. Isn't Frank Nitty wasn't he Al Capone's second in command? Didn't he do like Al Capone's dirty work? Frank Nitty, he takes the nickname of a gangster. This is the name of a so-called social justice activist. I'm pretty sure. Somebody tell me in the chat. Wasn't Frank Nitty Al Capone's second in command when he had the mob in Chicago? I mean, come on. That's the nickname of the leader of your social justice movement. So he's leading this march, I guess, from Milwaukee to Washington D.C. And apparently these guys are in like rural Pennsylvania, getting into gunfights with people like rural people in their homes. This is crazy. I mean, you couldn't make this up if you wanted to. Let's have a look at what this looked like. You know, and keep in mind that the name of this guy is Frank Nitty, and believe me, he's got a rap sheet. This guy, but look, do you want these guys coming through your rural area? So apparently they're exchanging gunfire with people local in the middle of the night in rural Pennsylvania. This is crazy. I guess they bit off more than they could chew here because these people apparently they're good shots, or because it's night and they're hitting a little too close to these people's comfort.
Hey!
Y'all get back to the cars. Y'all get in the cars. Go, Sandy, go. Go. Go that way, Sandy. He over here with the gun.
Don't go into rural Pennsylvania and start exchanging gunfire with the locals. It's not a good idea.
This dude shooting at us.
You can see these base 2 dudes. They're in the driveway now. These people are not messing around. And you heard that one. That one hit the vehicle near him.
Give me here! Give me here!
I mean, this is a chaotic scene. Just don't go into rural areas and get into gun battles with the locals. That's just my safety tip. Here it is, Bedford, Pennsylvania. After a shooting late Monday night in Shellsburg that injured a community activist, tensions between the group and Bedford County residents. Why are these people hanging around in rural Pennsylvania? Bubbled over late Tuesday night as state police responded to gunfire at a motel where the activist group was staying. So, these people that came from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they're on their way to Washington, and I guess he's saying we're handling it as 2 separate incidents. The Dunsmore said of the gunfire in the parking lot of the motel Tuesday. Information about 2 pickup trucks and a motorcycle that could be involved was heard in scanner chatter Tuesday night, and Dunsmore confirmed those vehicles were thought to be involved. Questions remain after a late-night confrontation between property owners on the 800 block of Lincoln Highway at about 11:30 p.m. State Police in Bedford County District Attorney Leslie Childers Potts said Tuesday afternoon investigators are working to find out what happened. All we know is there was an exchange of gunfire between the 2 parties involved. The Bedford State Police Captain Jamie Clark. Now, ask yourself, guys, who are the state police in that local area going to favor? If you have this group of outsiders coming through from Milwaukee and just coming in there and start exchanging gunfire with the locals, don't you? This is dumb. Who do you think the local police are going to favor in this conflict? Why they're hanging around there, I have no idea. This is stupid. The local police in these rural areas are overwhelmingly going to favor the local residents. These are the people that they're going to take care of and protect and defend. They're not going to care about you. This is not like a big city police department where they don't care about anybody. They're going to care about protecting the locals. They're not going to want some group of outsiders to come into their area shooting up the county. So before even reading any further into this, this is crazy. These people have no brains. You cannot roll into rural Pennsylvania and get into a battle with the locals there. The cops are going to favor the locals no matter what. They should just move on. I mean, it's clear that the cops here are going to make no effort to find out who's doing this, exchanging gunfire with these people. Here's one that you probably didn't see in the media. This is reported in the Washington Times about a man arrested for shooting at Trump supporters, and this happened in South Carolina. A group of about 30 Trump supporters had gathered, and they were waving American flags in a park in South Carolina, and this guy rolls up in a car, starts yelling at them, exchanging obscenities and all that, and then just fires from inside his car into the group, which included women and children, guys. When police arrived Monday, witnesses told them 3 men had driven by them multiple times, making derogatory remarks and yelling obscenities at them from the car. They also said the driver of the car then extended his arm through the car window while holding what appeared to be a handgun. That's when witnesses say they heard the gunshots. Officials didn't say if the gunshots were fired at the Trump supporters or towards another area. Angie Freeman, a Trump supporter, said she was in a parade of cars with supporters waving the flags when the shots rang out. We had all the windows down because we had all the flags out the windows. It was very loud. It was 4 or 5 shots. Ryan said the gunshots came from a red Volkswagen Jetta that then drove off down a highway. A South Carolina Highway Patrol trooper who just approached the area tried to catch up with the vehicle, he added. Trooper lost sight of the car after it exited the highway, and it was later found by law enforcement officers abandoned behind a closed business in Fort Mill. Authorities then stopped a white Chevrolet with 4 occupants that was leaving that area and identified 3 people suspected of involvement. 2 were released without charges. Major Brian Zachary at the Fort Mill Police said Asomani, 23, was taken into custody from that group, charged with multiple charges, included 6 counts of assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature. Bond set $75,000. It wasn't immediately clear if he had an attorney who could comment. So this guy got 6 counts, aggravated assault, probably with a firearms. Yeah, that's the aggravated nature. That's the firearms enhancement. So yeah, this guy's going to be facing some serious time. But before I let you guys go, I wanted to definitely play this sheriff. This guy, we need to clone this guy, and we need to distribute him to all the Democrat-run cities. This guy is going to be the sheriff of these times. We need more sheriffs like this.
Criminals. In social media. But we have received information in social media that some of the criminals were going to take their criminal conduct into the neighborhoods. I would tell them, if you value your life, you probably shouldn't do that in Polk County, because the people of Polk County like guns. They have guns. I encourage them to own guns, and they're going to be in their homes tonight with their guns loaded. And if you try to break into their homes to steal, to set fires, I'm highly recommending they blow you back out of the house with their guns. So leave the community alone.
We got to clone this guy, people. We got to grow him in a vat, give him advanced age to clones. We need to distribute this guy across the country. This is the best sheriff you could ever have. Now, I believe this is the same Polk County. Polk County. I was trying to figure out why that name sounded familiar and why I was wondering why. It's because it's the same county. If you remember years ago, this is, I think, during the Bush administration, where you had Florida police shot suspected cop killer 68 times. Now, get this. Officers fired 110 rounds of ammunition at the man suspected of killing a sheriff's deputy, killing the suspect according to an autopsy released by the sheriff's office. The reason why I remembered this is because of the quote that stuck with me over the years of why they shot him. They asked him why they shot the suspect 110 times. And the answer that the sheriff gave, I'm not even sure if it was the same sheriff. It was Sheriff Grady Judd, so it might be the same guy. I suspect the only reason 110 rounds was all that was fired was that's all the ammunition they had. So he's saying they emptied their mags into the cop killer. We were not going to take any chance of him shooting back. It was like 10 officers were involved in that. I think it was the same sheriff, but it's definitely the same county. Now that's a county where you can have confidence in your law enforcement. So I think we're just gonna leave it there, guys. I mean, to me, that's the kind of sheriff you want. The Polk County Sheriff. Wow. I mean, if that guy doesn't get reelected, I don't know why not. So we'll just leave it there, and I'll try to get these technical issues fixed by my next stream, guys. Listen, it's frustrating. I apologize. I appreciate that you stuck through this. This was at one point in the stream. I think we had over 400 people watching simultaneously. So despite the technical issues, that's probably the biggest stream I've given so far since I started live streaming it a few months ago. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching my return from YouTube jail. Hopefully we get these issues all ironed out. So that's all for this NeoUnrealist. Look, if you want to help my channel out, just do me a big favor. Hit like for this video. Just leave a comment below. YouTube likes that as interaction from what I understand. And mash down on the subscribe button. Gently tap it. You don't have to mash it. if you're not already subbed to the channel. People are telling me they're getting unsubscribed from my channel again. There's been like a new wave of purges on the on YouTube. So check that. Make sure you're still subscribed and click on the notification bell next to it. Put it on the all setting. Otherwise, YouTube doesn't bother sending you notifications. If you want to contribute directly to the channel, you want to toss your hard-earned dollars into the tip jar, help upgrade the potato of a machine. Follow links below to Patreon, Subscribestar, or PayPal. Or if you watch this on BitChute, you can just click on the green tip pledge button on the video player when it uploads later. But most importantly, guys, thanks for watching.